Hi everyone, LiberAnarchy here. I'm responding to DawaFilms. Oh, I forget what his video is called. YT Atheist Circus versus Reality. I wanted to address a few points in his video. I would like to address many of the points, but I think that my video would end up being too long. I tried and I ended up rambling for 15 minutes before I was even halfway done. I invite and ask you to mirror this video, and if you do, please copy and paste the video description in the crotch bar down below so that people can have access to the links. Alright. First, let me address, of course, something in the middle of the video. He calls atheists privileged. Certainly, many atheists are privileged, but not privileged, overprivileged. I have to wonder, who is he to say that anyone is overprivileged? And by what standard is he using? And who gave him authority to dispense privilege and to define what privileges people should have and to define who is overprivileged? And I can assure you that there are many atheists who are not privileged. Persecution complex. Yes, many atheists have a persecution complex. Not many, well, a few have a persecution complex, just like any other group of people. Absolutely. But very few videos by atheists have anything to do with being persecuted. In fact, there are atheists who will get on those atheists who do have a persecution complex. Now, in the links below, I have a link to an article about a survey that says atheists are the most hated minority, or excuse me, not hated, but most mistrusted minority in the United States. So there are cases when an atheist can, lose family or lose a job or something like that simply because she's an atheist or something. Now, is that widespread persecution? No. But the article's there. I linked to the video I'm responding to. I'm sure everyone's seen it by now. This is very old hat. I've also given the link DawaFilms gave in his description. This is about a person by the name of Tarek Mehanna. And basically DawaFilms believes that this person was unjustly imprisoned. Now, you will find many atheists of many political leanings, everyone from democratic socialists to free market libertarians and everyone in between, who absolutely do not like many recent laws to come down the pipe, such as the NDAA and the Patriot Act, and many others. Now, okay, YouTube, private organization, yes it is. That does not mean that it is immune from criticism. Having said that, most of the criticism about false DMCAs and false flagging does not go to YouTube. Most of the criticism goes to, one, the government who makes the laws such that sites like YouTube are absolutely petrified of being prosecuted because somebody else posted copyrighted material on their site. And two, the individuals who abuse YouTube features in order to censor people. Now, just because an organization is private does not make it immune to criticism. And you may have heard of a fatal error network, meaning there are people walking away from this private organization and walking toward another. Wow. And somebody else actually had to make this other private network here. So it's not like people are sitting around and just complaining and not doing anything. And if complaints are directed at YouTube, usually these complaints involve YouTube not actually looking at the material that has been flagged and instead just go ahead and removing it. But why is this? It's because they're petrified of being sued and taken offline and losing tons of money because some jerk may have posted copyrighted material and they don't want to get sued by various companies. Okay, and also criticism goes to the companies who pay lobbyists to lobby media companies that pay lobbyists to lobby legislators. So yeah, much criticism goes to them too. Now, so I did provide the link that DawaFilms provided. You can go ahead and read his article and his side of the story, and you can use Google. Google is your friend. Okay. I've provided a lot of links about various issues that DawaFilms addresses. DawaFilms, first of all, well, not first of all, but one thing I want to say is you are very presumptuous. You are extremely presumptuous. You pretend to know the motives of people running this charity event, and people attending it, and people donating. You assume that these people do not give charity to other causes in their private life. You also assume that these people are not politically active. Also, I'd like to remind you, you're on YouTube, dude. Or haven't you noticed? You spend your time insulting people for posting videos on YouTube, saying it's because their ideas won't fly anywhere else. Hello? Did you think you were posting somewhere else? And as far as atheism, not being considered a viable idea anywhere else, haven't you noticed the numerous books that come down the pipe that advocate atheism? Have you heard of, I don't know, the God delusion? God is not great? Have you not heard of the TV show down in Austin, Texas called The Atheist Experience? And there are a number of atheist podcasts out there. Do you live under a rock? Of course these ideas are considered viable in numerous places and are expressed in various forms of media. People are buying atheist literature, otherwise it wouldn't get published. If I wrote a book claiming that if I wrote a book about Time Cube, that actually might sell in the comedy section, but if I wrote a book about Time Cube, and no, I'm not going to link to that, it wouldn't get published by a publishing company. I would have to self-publish. Do you know why? Because those ideas probably would not sell. Okay. And it's interesting that you bring up fiat currency. Down here in the links, I have several articles. I linked you to the Wikipedia article about hard money. I've linked to an article on LouRockwell.com written by Ron Paul about sound money. Going back to the gold standard, I have linked an article that I found on the Ludwig von Mises Institute regarding myths and lies about the gold standard. These were not hard to find. My point is, you talk about fiat currency is fake. Okay, fair enough. I support sound money. I'm a Ron Paul supporter. And there are atheists who do support sound money. But you talk about fiat currency, but then you don't talk about any alternatives. You don't talk about things like Bitcoin or agorism or just bartering. I have a friend online who actually doesn't like money, but his solution is not to say, oh, well, money is bad and I don't want to earn money or something. His solution is to trade work and services and goods for other work, services, and goods. Yeah, there's incentives and there's reciprocity there, but it's more like, well, if you come help me pick my tomatoes, then, I'll give you, housing for the night or something like that, just as an example. Okay? My point is there are alternatives. You suggested none of them. Then you say that Western civilization is going to collapse, and you're gonna watch it and be glad? Really? Okay, first of all, now I'm actually inclined to think that there is something on the horizon. It may be a post-apocalyptic total collapse. It may be another depression. It may be a long continuing recession. It really all depends on what happens. Like you, I'm not a prophet. Only I'm not going to pretend to know things that I don't know. Even after I say that I don't know. I really don't know. But I will gladly link you to articles about sound money. That's more effort than you put in. Oh, and by the way, how's Joe and Jane Muslim going to do in a collapsing society? Have you thought about encouraging people to be prepared for such a thing? Have you thought about devoting your channel to preparedness, like storing food, water, and medicine? Here's an idea. How about raise money for Muslims in impoverished areas around the world? Or if you're in Malaysia, how about in Malaysia? Or raise money for a charity, for like a charity that already exists in Malaysia, that's already there, already established. Bring it to our attention. How you presume everyone's motives, I have no idea. How are you gleaning this knowledge? You're just making declarative statements. And you're saying that HIV/AIDS research is an acorn, meaning it's a small cause compared to impending doom. Well, first of all, you don't know if it's impending doom. As you say, you're not a prophet. I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. Secondly, do people in third world countries dying of HIV and AIDS? Yeah, that is a big cause. That's not an acorn. They're dying. Or haven't you noticed? Or is it because you're privileged enough not to see them? Perhaps find a hospital ward perhaps find a children's ward in a hospital and entertain there, read them stories. Do something like that. Then you'll realize such people and research for finding the cures to these diseases is not an acorn. It's not small. And you criticize do what we can ethics. Well, first, what's the alternative? Do you want us to do what we can't? Secondly, there are atheists who are very politically active and who absolutely oppose America's interventionist foreign policy. And as far as what you can do, well, I linked you in the comments to Ron Paul's website. There are people who are, I mean, I don't think Ron Paul will even get the nomination, unfortunately, but there are people who support Ron Paul and who would vote for him should he get the nomination. There are politically active atheists on all sides of various issues. In fact, I bet you I could find a pro-life atheist. It wouldn't be an easy search, but I bet you I could find one. Somewhere. So yeah, I mean, there are atheists who are democratic socialists, who are Goldwater Republicans, who are libertarians, who are, Ayn Rand objectivists. There are atheists like Wagner who can't stand Ayn Rand. So yeah. And you do have atheists who they may boycott certain companies they don't like the policies of. They may volunteer, say cleaning, if they're environmentalists, they may volunteer to clean up someplace. Let's see. Come on. Oh, that was another thing. You're saying that atheists don't give unless there's some sort of event and unless there's an opportunity to make themselves look great and showcase how ethical they are. That's a bunch of bull. You don't know that. I don't know how much you give or do not give to charity. I have no idea. You have no idea what I do for charity, or what I don't do for charity. Okay, channels. You're calling out some atheist channels, and aside from mentioning Brett Keane, you're not very specific, are you? And you're saying that they earn more money than they earn for their YouTube channels than they earn for this charity event. Prove it. Name names and prove it. But then again, how would you know? I have to ask. How would you know? And this isn't to say that there haven't been a few atheists who have e-begged. But those atheists were called out by other atheists who didn't appreciate e-begging, okay? It happens. But how on earth would you know how much revenue certain YouTube pages pull in? And if there is a way that you do know, by all means, show us the evidence for your claims. Don't just make declarative statements and start accusing people of things, please. Okay, 80%. You say that 80% of U.S. money goes to killing people overseas. Again, many atheists oppose these interventionist wars, but where do you get this number? Are you getting this number, okay, first of all, you're not very specific, which may be smart on your point, because you'll find some 80% of something somewhere and go, oh, this is where I got it, oh. But are you talking about defense spending, which defense is a euphemism for military, but are you talking about all revenue that does not go to directly giving things to people or something? I mean, how do you come at this number of 80%? And specifically, 80% of the U.S. budget, what year was spent on killing people overseas? What fiscal year was this? And by the way, show us the pie charts or something. By the way, I found 2 pie charts. They don't agree with each other, mind you, but I found 2 of them for the fiscal year of 2011. See, I didn't know what year you were talking about, so I just said, this will probably do. This is fine. Yeah, links in the description. This is why I ask people to copy and paste the links when you mirror this video, because I do want you to mirror this video, or at least download it and copy and paste the links and have it ready in case this goes down. But first is Wikipedia. Yeah, it's Wikipedia. And they have a little bit under 20% of the budget spent on defense. The next is another site called something like, How America Spends, usbudget.com or US government money, something like, I credit the site with the link, so don't worry about that. But it says roughly about 25% goes to defense spending, or went to defense spending in the fiscal year of 2011. So while the numbers don't agree, neither of these numbers are 80%. 80%, dude. Really? Where do you get this? Or are you just saying it? You make lots and lots of claims in this video, but you don't provide any evidence. The only source you provide is for this one cause you open with, which is fine. But as far as, okay, you open with this one cause, well, you advocate for that. You advocate for them. Don't say, I'm going to criticize you guys who are putting forth time and effort to charity because your cause isn't my cause. Here's a thought. You go advocate for your cause. I've been subscribed to you for a little while, and I haven't seen a bunch of videos about this or about Muslims who are political prisoners. Granted, it's unrealistic to think one person with a YouTube channel can change the world. However, one person with a YouTube channel can educate people. And you could, by the way, get together with a couple of friends and run a blog TV event for a particular charity. Your causes. You advocate for your causes. We're not responsible for advocating for your causes. Convince us. That's your job. Your responsibility is to convince us of whatever you're trying to convince us of. If there is a charity you think deserves money, by all means, convince us. And as far as having events and highly, as far as having events and using the internet, such as YouTube, that you're on, by the way, that you're using to make this video, criticizing people making YouTube videos. Funny thing about that, it brings attention to the cause and it educates people, and when more people know about a particular charity, like through a charity event, then that charity will earn more money. It's called advertising, dude. This isn't rocket science. I don't understand why you don't get this. I don't understand why your first inclination is to think, oh, these people want to act all moral and righteous and instead of, oh, these people want to make money for this cause they believe in. Okay, well, that's nice. So I don't know what you're doing. You're making a bunch of baseless claims. You're accusing people of stuff, and you're not providing any evidence. That's all you're doing. So basically, your video really ought to be called DawaFilms accuses people of stuff and makes drama. Because that's exactly what you're doing. It's a drama video. That's all it is. So, yeah. Yeah, so I got a bunch of links down here about topics that you did address, in case somebody wants to research it. Right. And then you say you will watch civilization collapse and you will be happy about it? Well, no wonder you don't like charity, because you're going to sit and watch people suffer and enjoy it. No, I don't think you're cruel, by the way. I do think you're mean. I don't think you're cruel. I just think you're a douchebag, okay? And the last point I'm going to address is when you say that you're just aware of truth. You're just speaking about reality, what's true, whatever. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, that must be very nice for you. I'm being sarcastic. Saying something is true does not make it true. Sorry. I mean, sure, it's true to you, but just saying that your opinions are true does not make them true. And nobody with a brain will take you seriously. Okay, so that's my video. Please look in the description and visit links, especially if you're DawaFilms, because that is a little bit of information about some of the myriad topics you address. And by the way, I did provide that link that you provided, so yeah, people can start researching your issue from your side of it too. So next time you have a string of accusations and you presume to know what people's motives are and you presume to know how much people give to charity, yeah, maybe next time you'll do a little research before speaking. Oh, and by the way, if you do know the atheists don't give anything to charity, you'd have to hack into personal accounts for that. I'm not talking about personal YouTube accounts. You would have to hack into a person's PC and look on, say, their, QuickBooks or TurboTax or something, and actually look into their files. Hey, good boy, Seti. Oops. I'm trying to show you my cat. Anyway, so yeah. You can certainly see how much charities receive from, big donors and certain companies, but when somebody drops coins in a red Salvation Army can, for example, you don't know that. You're not aware of that. Again, unless you have superpowers or something, which I strongly doubt. Now, if you're going to find out, say, how much somebody's writing off on their taxes for charities, you are going to have to hack into people's computers for that. That's criminal, dude. Also, there are different ways of giving aside from money. So, when somebody gets up and goes to a soup kitchen, when somebody gives old clothes to Goodwill, when somebody volunteers their time at, say, a homeless shelter, or this is off the top of my head, but there are many ways you can help charities aside from just throwing money in their general direction. And if you do not trust just giving money to charity, you can call up charities and say, what do you need? Like with the Red Cross, after 9/11, they were sick of getting blood. They had way too much blood. So they're like, no. Now, yeah, I'm not Now, the Red Cross has done some things that weren't entirely reputable, but that's just an example. Not every charity needs exactly what you think they need. After Katrina hit, they were asking for toiletries, maxi pads, things like that. I mean, they were getting, lots of food and stuff, and that's great, but there was other stuff that they needed. Toothpaste, stuff that you don't really think about. Toilet paper. Seti, come here. So yeah, on that note, I'm going to end this video because you have no idea what you're talking about. Try visiting a few links that I dug up for you because I'm nice and you're lazy. Have fun. And hopefully next time some people decide to be generous and use the internet as a forum for that. See, there's my cat. Hey, cat. You won't be a mean person who just accuses people of stuff. So, yeah. So, yeah, you're one of the worst YouTubers on here, I think, because of this recent video. And yes, I did hear about the other message, the bulletin, but... Okay. So, go die in a fire, asshole. Oh, and salam, as I understand it, it means God bless. Am I wrong? Because, you know what? With that whole video, we are spewing accusations without evidence and demeaning other people's particular causes, and then just making assumptions, and then saying that you will sit back and be happy and do nothing as Western civilization collapses? You don't want anyone to be blessed. You're lying to us. So, die in a fire.